Hello and welcome to Showtime with Shane. My name is Shane and it is showtime. As I literally just said. You like that? How I just repeated myself there? Welcome to my predictions for the 2026 Academy Awards. That's right, the 98th Academy Awards. The Oscars are coming up. Depending on when you're watching this video, they're about a week away. I'm recording this on March 5th, so they're just over a week away. I intentionally waited to record it until today, just to get through the actor awards and get everything in place, just because not really any of my predictions changed too much after the actor awards, but the odds are definitely shaken up. So let me just get into a few things before we go into it here. You see, I got my Oscars hat there, so I'm ready to go. This is my third year predicting the Oscars. If you're curious how I did the last 2 years, not very good. On my first time, I did 69%, nice, which feels solid. Last year, I only got 52%, and that was when I watched like all the movies and did a great job keeping up with everything, 52%. So my hopes aren't super high for this year, but either way, I'm really excited. This video is kind of the anticipation of, a culmination of many things for me. Culmination's a better word, not anticipation there, but a culmination of many things for me. I love the Oscars. I've told people before, the Oscars, it's like my Super Bowl. And so when I get into one of my predictions, I have another little analogy similar to that. But hopefully we can improve my track record this year. If not, that's okay. I will say I have an official ballot for the Oscar of, not my votes. Of course, obviously, I'm not an Academy member. Maybe that's not obvious to you. I'm not an Academy member. But I'm talking about of my predictions. So there's a website that I absolutely love that I would highly recommend called myoscarlist.com, where you can go in and you can check off movies you've seen for the Oscars and different things like that. And it goes back all the Oscars ever since the first are on there. But one thing you can do is create a pool. I created a pool. There's currently a handful of people in the pool, and they all went in and made their predictions. If you would like to join the pool, it's going to be linked down below. The way it works, go to myoscarlist.com, create your account, and then click the link, and it'll take you to my pool. It'll send me a little message saying you want to join. I check it. I'm in the pool or in the website frequently, but I check it a couple times a day just to see if anyone wants to join the pool. If you win, whoever does the best job, I will get this trophy to you that I purchased here. It says 2026 Showtime with Shane Oscar Pool winner. We'll see. Maybe it'll stay here on my shelf. Maybe it'll go home with you. Maybe my wife will win it and it'll stay here on my shelf. I don't know. I guess we're going to see. But you can go and make your predictions, and I can't see any predictions or anything until after. On that one, it lets you pick a first and second option, which I think is great. The second option is worth half points. And the reason I think that's great is because I think a lot of these awards, not all of them, a lot of these awards are really two nominee races right now. There's a handful, a small handful that I'm like pretty confident. There's really only one that I would like say I'm 100% confident in. All the rest, I'm pretty confident. Then most of them I think are a two nominee race. And then there are a small handful now still that are, I won't say anyone's game, but 3 or 4 people's games. So there you go. So we're going to start from what I'll say the bottom up there with, again, an Oscar's an Oscar. So props to anyone that wins one. Oh, and then the last thing I do want to say is, if I say like the odds are or the experts' predictions or anything like that, if you're curious what I'm using for that, I use a website. If you're familiar with the Oscars, you're probably familiar with this website. Like if you're really ingrained in it like I am, it's goldderby.com is what I'm using for that. If you just go to goldderby.com, they have their Oscar predictions, which is based on just like their experts and various journalists and people that work in the industry and various things. So they have a few things there. So if you hear me saying the odds, that's what I'm talking about with that. And then I think that's everything I want to go. So let's do this. Starting with the best documentary short. The nominees are All the Empty Rooms, Armed Only with a Camera, The Life and Death of Brent Renaud, Children No More, Were and Are Gone, The Devil is Busy, and Perfectly a Strangeness. I should have said this before I started, but just to make this clear, I've watched every single one of these movies and shorts and documentaries that I'm about to talk about. This is the first year where I was actually able to watch all of them prior to recording this video. Last year I was one short. I eventually got it watched. The year before that I was missing quite a few. This year I've watched all of them. I've rewatched all of them that I had already seen, so I'm 50 for 50 on there. So just if you're curious there, I've seen all these, so I feel as though I'm well equipped to talk about them. So again, this is really a 2-person race right now. I have my pick and my prediction for each one. Sometimes those are the same. My pick is what I would like to win. If I had a ballot, what I would be voting for. If I was submitting, my voting to the Academy. My prediction is what I predict to win. Maybe that's self-explanatory, but I just felt like I should spell that out. So for Best Documentary Short, my pick and prediction are the same. And I'm going to go with Armed Only with a Camera, The Life and Death of Brent Renaud. So it's not the favorite at all. The heavy favorite there is All the Empty Rooms, which I think is an absolutely tragically beautiful film. It's about it's about school shootings here in the United States, and I think it would be absolutely wonderful if that won, because I think that that's something that deserves a spotlight and deserves attention. The reason that I'm going to go with Armed Only with a Camera, to me, I think really all 5 of these I thought were really well made. They were really well powerful. A couple of them made me cry. The reason I liked Armed Only with a Camera is with the short subject films, those are usually the ones where it's the biggest upset, where the thing that's in like 5th on Gold Derby could actually win. And the reason for that is just because some people will just skip voting in that category. And so that the people that are voting usually are going to be the ones that really care. Armed Only with a Camera is about the death of a journalist and documentary filmmaker, and I feel like the documentary filmmakers that would be voting in this category would be inclined to vote for that. The nominees are the cameraman that was with him when he passed and his brother. I think that would be really cool for them to be able to go up and accept this award on his behalf. The he that I'm talking about is Brent Renaud, who was killed in Ukraine covering the war over there. And so that's going to be my pick and my prediction. That's my first one, and it's already kind of would be considered an upset, quote unquote, but that's what I'm going to go with. Next, for Best Live Action Short Film, the nominees are Butcher's Stain, A Friend of Dorothy, Jane Austen's period drama, The Singers, and Two People Exchanging Saliva. So let me just say, all 5 of these nominees I thought were great. I really took a lot from all of these films. Butcher's Stain, is very powerful, very topical. A Friend of Dorothy, I thought was really well made and really well acted, which is not always true for a short film. Jane Austen's period drama, I thought was unexpectedly funny, and just I loved to see. That's a fun nomination. The Singers was really cool. It was a little more low stakes, but really sweet and heartfelt. And then Two People Exchanging Saliva was kind of just a cool, not experimental film, but it felt cool and different. What I'm going to go with as the winner, as well as my pick, would be A Friend of Dorothy. So there you go, Friend of Dorothy there. Now for Best Animated Short, this is the category that I most want to boycott because I am still upset. This is going to be like the 4th video I've said it in. I am still upset that Snow Bear was not nominated. Aaron Blaze's film, who was the director and one of the animators on Brother Bear, his film Snow Bear that came out last year. It was, I believe it still is, available free on YouTube. My son and I have watched it like 10 times this year because he absolutely loves it. I absolutely love it. I think it's so well made. It's beautifully hand-drawn, and it has a good message. But it was not nominated, and I'm upset about that. So I'll do this anyways. The 5 nominees are Butterfly, Forever Green, The Girl Who Cried Pearls, Retirement Plan, and The Three Sisters. And I think Snow Bear is better than, for sure, 3 of these. But if you look at the odds for the Best Animated Short, it's going to match my prediction of what I think will win, which is Butterfly, which is a really well animated film. I think it has a great message too. It's cool. When I say a great message, what do I even mean by that? Maybe great message isn't the right word, but it has a cool topic. It focuses on a cool narrative, and it does it well. It's well executed, but I think the animation would really be the main reason it won, because it's meant to look, or maybe, I don't know how they animated it to be truthful, but it looks as though it's like a moving painting. My pick, not my prediction, my pick would be The Girl Who Cried Pearls. I'm I could really take or leave stop motion animation. I don't love most stop motion movies, not because they're stop motion. I don't think it's because they're stop motion. I like Wallace and Gromit, but most of the rest I could take or leave. I think Nightmare Before Christmas is fine too. But I thought The Girl Who Cried Pearls was really well done. I thought the stop motion was really cool in that. So now moving on to Best Documentary Feature. 5 nominees are The Alabama Solution, Come See Me in the Good Light, Cutting Through Rocks, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, and The Perfect Neighbor. Again, this one for me was really a 2-person race. I think it's clear who the winner's going to be, but the one that I want to talk about here that was my personal runner-up that I would not be mad at if it won is The Alabama Solution, which everyone that lives in the United States should go watch. It shows you the problems with the United States Justice Department and our Department of Corrections and our jailing and prison systems. It's awful film. It made me cry. It's incredibly sad. And that's all I'll say about that. What I think will and should win, though, is The Perfect Neighbor. Again, a film that I think anyone can watch it, but I really think anyone that lives in the United States, you should go watch that film. And if you don't like it, then I think maybe that says a lot about you as a person. And that is what it is. But I liked The Perfect Neighbor a lot, in the sense of it was really well made. It was really well done. It's very reminiscent of the film, the documentary film from last Oscars called Incident, which is done entirely from, it was made entirely from like body cam footage and CCTV footage and things like that. This film is the same way. It's made entirely from videos that were pre-recorded. It wasn't like somebody went and filmed a documentary. They used pre-existing footage and put it all together. It was well made, well done, well thought out, and I think it should and will win the Oscar here. Now, moving on to Best Animated Feature. The nominees are Arco, Elio, K-Pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, and Zootopia 2. Now, my pick would be Zootopia 2. Now, I'm extremely biased towards Zootopia 2. You may know that was the first movie my wife and I took our son Ryder to go see. It was an absolute blast. I had so much fun, as you can imagine. And, I love movies. I love the movie theater. I love my family significantly more than both those things. But being able to combine those things together was just a blast, and being able to take Ryder. So my pick would be Zootopia 2. However, K-Pop Demon Hunters is going to take it home, obviously. I think that one's pretty shoo-in there. Now, moving on to Best International Feature Film, the 5 nominees are It Was Just an Accident from France, The Secret Agent, Brazil, Sentimental Value, Norway, Surat, Spain, and The Voice of Hind Rajab from Tunisia. I think all 5 of these were very solid films. I enjoyed all of them a lot. I think, again, this one's really going to be a race of 2 between The Secret Agent and Sentimental Value. And to me, it's just clear. It's kind of clear how it should go, because even though The Secret Agent racked up a total of 4 nominations, Surat got 1, and It Was Just an Accident Surat got 1 other than just Best International Feature, so it got 2. It Was Just an Accident got 2. The Voice of Hind Rajab only got 1. Sentimental Value got 9. Not that Oscar nominations are all that it's worth, but to me, when the Academy is looking at what is the Best International Feature, the one that got 9 nominations, I think that's probably the one that should take it home and will take it home. That's my favorite of these 5, so it's my pick, and it's going to be my prediction as well. It and The Secret Agent both got Best Picture nominations, which is why it's really a race of those 2. I don't even see how it would make any plausible sense for one of the others to win when it didn't get in Best Picture, but I would give it to Sentimental Value there. Now, moving on to Best Casting. This, as you may know, this is an entirely new category, so it's kind of going to set the precedent here on what the Academy values when it comes to Best Casting. I think some people are maybe a little confused and are confusing this with Best Ensemble, which was the big award at the Actor Awards that we just saw a few nights ago. But this is not for the ensemble as a whole. This would go to the casting director. So the nominees are Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, and Sinners. To me, this is easy. The pick and prediction has got to be Sinners, right? Not only does it have the biggest ensemble of complete characters, and I mean that just like they have so many characters with character arcs is what I mean by complete character. But every single actor in that film, to me, could be in serious awards consideration. I think it's kind of funny that Sentimental Value was not nominated when all 100% of the actors from that movie, then lead roles, were nominated. So it probably should have been nominated here. One Battle After Another, you have the really strong, it's not even a quartet. They're whatever 5 people are called. What would that be called? Pentet? Is that Pentagon is 5, right? Yeah, Pentet. I don't know, but you have 5 there for One Battle After Another. But to me, it's got to go to Sinners. So, moving on to best visual effects. This is okay. I said there was one that I was 100% on. It's not this one, but this one I'm also 100% on. So I guess there's 200. I'm 100% on. I'm not really a betting man at all. But if somebody came up to me and was like, Shane, you have to bet your house on an Oscar, I would bet my house that Avatar Fire and Ash was going to win the Oscar for Best Visual Effects. If it doesn't, that's absolutely stupid, outrageous, and abysmal. You like that? I got 3 nice words in there. And it should win. It's my pick as well. So Avatar Fire and Ash. I didn't even tell you what the nominees are because I'll tell you. Avatar Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. But Avatar Fire and Ash is going to take that one pretty easily there. Now, moving on to Best Sound. The nominees are F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Seurat. And my pick and prediction, another one I'm pretty confident in, not enough to bet the house, but pretty confident in, has got to be F1. Some people, and I understand why, don't like the F1 Best Picture nomination that we'll talk about later. I love it, because I love seeing a fun movie like that get in there. I like seeing a popular movie like that get in there. And I also loved F1. It was I think I had it ranked as my 3rd favorite movie from last year. All 3 of my top 3 made it in. So I'm very pleased with that. I loved F1. And I think it should and will take home the award for Best Sound. Now moving on to Best Production Design. The nominees are Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. The award should and will go to Frankenstein there. By the way, if you join my Oscar pool and you use my own predictions, I think that's cheap. But you can do that if you want to, because I guess I'm giving you it all right here. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that until just now. I mean, surely you don't take enough stock in what I say, but also it's like you're not really risking anything for that. It's like you're just entering it and could maybe get this trophy that I got on Amazon. So I don't know. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Now moving on to, I just messed with the view here on my laptop. No. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Okay, Best Original Song. Okay, the nominees are Dear Me from Diane Warren Relentless, Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters, I Lied to You from Sinners, Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verde, and Train Dreams from Train Dreams. K-Pop Demon Hunters, Golden is gonna win. My pick would be I Lied to You from Sinners. I'm really, really excited to see Miles Caton's performance at the Oscars for that song. I thought his performance at the SAG Awards, the Actor Awards, was, I was kind of confused why they were doing it because it just felt kind of random, but I really liked it. And I also thought, I don't know, I thought it was really cool. It was different and I liked it. And it was, they were singing to Jesus. That's kind of cool. It's like, I don't know if I would fully say they were worshiping, but I thought it was cool. They were singing some gospel type music there. But I Lied to You, would be my pick, but Golden is going to win. Now moving on to Best Original Score. The 5 nominees are Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. I don't know what I would take out. Personally, I would probably have both Marty Supreme and F1 in here. But to me, it didn't matter. The award is going to go to Sinners. It should go to Sinners. Shout out to Ludwig Göransson, who is going to slowly become the modern day John Williams, even though John Williams is still kicking, so he can also be the modern day John Williams. But that's going to go to Ludwig Göransson for Sinners. Let me take a drink real quick. My Shasta cream soda, not a sponsor. Now, moving on to best makeup and hairstyling, the 5 nominees are Frankenstein, Kokuho, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister. Let me just say real quick, Kokuho, I absolutely loved that nomination. I thought it was so cool that it got in. Even though it didn't make it in for Best International Feature, I love the one-off nominations, and especially in the below-the-line categories. The below-the-line categories means not Best Picture, acting, directing, or writing. That's what below-the-line categories are. I think it's cool to see the one-off nominations in there. I don't like it when it's just like those Best Picture nominees over and over and over. If they deserve it, that's great, and I'm not mad at it. But it's cool. This one has 3 single nominees from Kokuho, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister, which is kind of on brand for makeup and hairstyling. Kokuho was hard to find. It was really, really hard to find, and I won't tell you how I found it, but I did find it, and I watched it. If you can catch my drift there. And it was really hard to get through as well. It was long, and it was boring, and not trying to be mean. It's very successful in Japan. I think that's great. I think that's a movie that struggles not necessarily because of a language barrier, because I can get through that. I don't mind captions, but because of a cultural barrier where it's just like, it just kind of didn't make sense to me, to be completely honest. So maybe that's just a me thing. All that to be said, this award should and will go to Best Makeup and Hairstyling for, of course, what they did to our boy Jacob Elordi. I'm still not even convinced that was him in the movie. One, because his performance was so good, but also because that makeup and hairstyling was so good. And there was other good makeup and hairstyling in that movie, but, I mean, that's the obvious one there. Now, moving on to Best Editing. The nominees are F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. See, this is one... it's 5 Best Picture nominees. I'm not saying these don't deserve to be nominated, but it's just like a little boring there, because Best Editing, they could have branched out a little bit. Now, One Battle After Another is the heavy favorite to win. This is going to be one of my upsets where I'm not really confident in this prediction, but I made it, and I decided it, and so I'm just going to stick with it and say it with my chest that I think F1 should and will win for Best Editing. So there you go. Now, moving on to Best Costume Design, the 5 nominees are Avatar: Fire and Ash, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Sinners. Listen, I loved Avatar: Fire and Ash. I thought it was a brilliant movie. I wouldn't have even been mad if it got in for Best Picture. I'm so confused why it's nominated for Best Costume Design. So incredibly confused. There's like 2 people in that movie wearing a real costume. I understand that they designed the costumes like that the characters were going to wear, but they weren't actually wearing them. They were CGI. And so that to me would just go to visual effects. And so that nomination just really is really confusing to me. I guess it's solely just for what Spider is wearing, his little loincloth situation. I don't know. This was another one that should and will go to Frankenstein. Now, moving on to Best Cinematography. The nominees are Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Okay, this is one where I was like, oh, I'm going to go with the upset win. I feel good. Right now, my nominee, or my pick and prediction is 3rd on the rankings here. Sinners is the heavy favorite to win. And let me say this. I kind of hope that Sinners wins because the nominee for Sinners is Autumn Gerald Arkapow is her name. I don't know how to say her last name. I'm sorry. But she's the first woman of color and only the 4th woman ever to be nominated for Best Cinematography. And if she won, she would be the first woman to ever win the award. I think that's so cool. So I hope that happens because I love history being made. That being said, it's not my pick or my prediction, which I feel kind of like, dang, I feel like I'm part of the patriarchy for this. Honestly, when I made these predictions, I wasn't fully aware of even who the actual nominees were, just the movies, and I like my prediction, so I'm going to stick with it. But I just wanted to preface that I think it would be really cool if Sinners wins. My pick and my prediction, though, is that Train Dreams will win. I thought that was probably the best part about that movie, so I think that Adolfo Veloso will take that home for Best Cinematography for Train Dreams. Now, to the above the line awards there, starting with Best Original Screenplay. And the 5 nominees are Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. I would love for this to go to Marty Supreme. It's not gonna. It's gonna go to Sinners, and I think that's cool because I think it is, spoilers, probably the only above the line award that Sinners will take home. So I think that'll be fun. I think it's going to be great to see Ryan Coogler go up there and accept that. I think it's well deserved. So shout out Ryan Coogler, shout out Sinners. That's my pick and my prediction. Now moving on to Best Adapted Screenplay though. Here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say on Best Adapted Screenplay is that I think this is going to be one where they spread the love a little bit. And the obvious one that should and likely maybe will be the winner is not going to win because they're going to diversify a little bit here. So for Best Adapted Screenplay, the nominees are Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams. One Battle After Another would be my pick, and I think it likely will win. However, my prediction is going to be Hamnet because I think Hamnet... I think it's going to get a couple awards here, and I think that this is going to be the second one. I'll tell you what the first one is in a second. Well, I guess this would be the first one. That would be the second one. Whatever. I think it's going to take this home just because I think they're going to want to spread out a little bit. It kind of reminds me of like when American Fiction won a couple years back, just to kind of spread out. So hopefully that makes sense there. Now moving on to Best... I also think Hamnet would be a deserving win. Let me throw that out there as well. Now for Best Supporting Actor, by the way, me picking that for Best Adapted Screenplay is absolutely insane because likely Paul Thomas Anderson's going to walk home with 3 Oscars, which would be cool. But I just needed to, it's like they have like a 95% chance to win if One Battle After Another. So that's probably not a wise prediction, but I'm going with it. Best Supporting Actor. The nominees are Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi, Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo, Sinners, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård, Sentimental Value. Genuinely, any one of these 5 names gets called, I would not be shocked. Now, Jacob Elordi would surprise me a little bit, but he won the Critics' Choice. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a precedent there. Delroy Lindo is not nominated for any other award, but this supporting actor race has been so crazy. If he won it, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not shocked by that. So this is probably the hardest category to predict. This and Best Supporting Actress, really, which is kind of fun how up in the air these are. My pick and prediction, even though he is committing some category fraud, is Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Now, he was the favorite until the Actor Awards when Sean Penn took that home. I don't even think Stellan Skarsgård was nominated at the Actor Awards, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't even nominated at the Actor Awards because I don't think anyone from Sentimental Value was. I know it was only a couple nights ago, but I can't fully remember. I think Miles Caton was in there, and then so who was the 5th? Oh, Paul Mescal. There we go. So yeah, Stellan Skarsgård was not nominated. But I think the fact that Sean Penn won and not one of the other 4 nominees, that's kind of solidified for a lot of people that Sean Penn would win the Oscar as well. That would definitely be my runner-up. But I'm going to stick with Stellan Skarsgård here. So I think Stellan Skarsgård will take this home for Sentimental Value. Now moving on to Best Supporting Actress is just the same amount of a crapshoot. Admittedly, if you look at the predictions, I think this is the one that has the least disparity between the 3. There's the most parity, I guess would be the word I'm looking for there. So the nominees are Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Inga Ipsdottir-Elias from Sentimental Value, Amy Madigan, Weapons, Wunmi Mosaku, Sinners, and Tiana Taylor, One Battle After Another. No offense to either of the ladies from Sentimental Value, they're not taking this home. There was a while where Inga Ipsdottir-Elias, it was like, oh, this award might be hers, but we're kind of away from that now. This is a 3-woman race here. Now, if you go to goldderby.com, it currently has Amy Madigan sitting at 46%, and that's after she took home the Actors Award. Tiana Taylor, who was the leader up until this point, is still sitting at 31%. She dropped from 61 to 31% after Amy Madigan's win. And Wunmi Mosaku, who took home the BAFTA a couple weeks ago, is sitting at 21%. So 46, 31, 21, that's really tight. Most of these are like the first place is in 60, second place maybe has 20, and then the rest have like 0.2 or something. So it's like, this is just really close. I think Wunmi Misako is not going to take it home. I really don't think so. Again, would be a cool win though. I think it's really between Amy Madigan and Tiana Taylor. I don't understand the story behind the Amy Madigan win. I think that her performance is fun and silly in Weapons. I think it works in the movie, but I do not think that it was near the top 5 best supporting actress performances of 2025. That's no hate to Amy Madigan. I think it's a cool nomination. I love a single nomination, especially in an acting award. So cool. Horror is a genre that is so not given the spotlight at the Oscars. I think it's cool that it's here. I just think that this does not make sense to me. Her last nomination was in 1985, which is the longest time between 2 nominations for a female actress. That's a 40-year gap, obviously, there. But I just cannot get behind this. And some people say that it could be a career win, rewarding her for a career. This sounds hateful. This is no hate or shade to Amy Madigan. If you're watching this, you probably know me and how engrossed I am in movies, how much I like to think I know about movies, about the world. No, I had never heard of Amy Madigan. Never heard of Amy Madigan until after I watched Weapons. Maybe that's more telling on me. Again, I'm not trying to disrespect her. She's a 2-time Oscar nominee. She has some great films under her belt. She's won a Golden Globe before. She's Emmy nominations. I have her Wikipedia pulled up right now. To me, this would not be a career. Like, you give a career win to somebody like a Glenn Close, right? Or even a Stellan Skarsgård, who hadn't been nominated but was often overlooked. Amy Madigan, this makes no sense to me as a career award. None. To me, this award should go to Tiana Taylor, hands down. And so I'm going to stick with that as my prediction for Tiana Taylor. This was one that I was confused after the movie why Tiana Taylor was getting so much buzz for Best Supporting Actress, because I was like, she wasn't really in the movie that much. And then I'm like, well, duh, Shane, that's what a supporting actress is. But also, the first half hour of the movie is just about her character, really. And also, the impact of her character is what drives the entire film. And so I get it now. I'll admit I didn't get it when I first saw the buzz, but then after rewatching the movie and after thinking about it more, I was like, this is such obvious. This is the epitome of what a Best Supporting Performance award should be. I'm going to go with Tiana Taylor. Now, moving on to Best Actress. All right. This is the one that I was like, I'm 100% sure. The nominees are Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, which I don't think should be here. I like Kate Hudson, but this is a silly nomination. Renat Reinsva for Sentimental Value and Emma Stone for Begonia. I haven't seen The Testament of Anne Lee. I know a lot of people thought Amanda Seyfried should be in here. Personally, I would have slid Chase Infinity in there for Kate Hudson, again, just because I hadn't seen Testament of Anne Lee. This is Jessie Buckley's award. It doesn't matter. She's swept up to this point. I think she's going to take home the Oscar. I think it's well deserved. She won the Swiss Award for whatever that's worth for Best Supporting. So do with that what you will. And there you go. That's what I'm going to go with. Now, moving on to Best Actor. This one makes my stomach churn. I said earlier that that the Oscars is my Super Bowl, right? Well, I'm not going to read you the nominees yet, but this guy right here is a nominee for that movie, Timothée Chalamet, of course. This is why it makes my stomach hurt so much, is because Timothée Chalamet winning Best Actor, I'm going to put this in terms that the average person will understand. That would be like my team winning the Super Bowl, or my team winning the NBA championship or the World Series or the FIFA World Cup, whatever it is that you care about. Imagine that. This for me is that. I thought it was absolutely brilliant when the Thunder won the championship last year. I was so excited. I love Oklahoma City. I love the Thunder. Basketball is my favorite sport, even though I'm a lot less into sports now than I have ever been, because I'm a dad and a husband, but also because I'd rather watch a movie in my free time. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I think I would be happier with a Timothée Chalamet Oscar win. I would talk about that so much more, and I would be so much happier with a Timothée Chalamet Oscar win. It affects me less. The Oklahoma City, when the Thunder won the championship, that was beautiful for Oklahoma City, and I was so glad to see it. And I would love if they could win another one this year. But that's why it makes my stomach churn a little bit, especially after what happened at the SAG Awards. So let me get into this. This will probably be the one I talk the most about. The nominees are Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. So this has really been split here going through the awards. Timothée Chalamet has won 2 awards. Wagner Moura has won 2 awards. Michael B. Jordan has won 1 award. And then Robert Aramayo won the BAFTA. Did I say Wagner Moura won 2? I think he won 1. But Robert Aramayo won the BAFTA there. So he's not even nominated. He may be nominated next year, I think maybe is what they said for eligibility. But anyways, I wanted to talk about each of these nominees here. So Timothée Chalamet has won. He won the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Comedy, and he won the Critics' Choice were the 2 that he took home. Right? Yeah. Of the big awards leading up to the Oscars, and that's more than any of the other actors here. Now, there's some people like, well, nobody's ever. Or it's been 23 years, I think, since somebody won Best Actor at the Oscars, with only winning this award and this award. So they didn't win the BAFTA and they didn't win the SAG, but they won those 2. And this would be the first time in 23 years. Okay, understood. Wagner Moura only won the Golden Globe. That doesn't sound right. I feel like he won another one. But whatever it is that Wagner Moura won. Let me look. I need to be accurate here while I'm talking. Well, he won the Cannes award, but that's not what I'm talking about. Or Cannes. I don't know however you say it. But so that would be the first time in however many years that somebody won with just winning a Golden Globe. And then if you look at Michael B. Jordan, who just came off the Actor Award, so has a ton of momentum right now, that would be the first time, I think, ever that somebody only won with winning the Actor Award. And then if you look at Leonardo DiCaprio and Ethan Hawke, they haven't won any of the awards, so it would be the first time in a really long time that anybody won. So I saw a bunch of people trying to disparage Timothée Chalamet's case, and I'm not trying to be a Timothée Chalamet truther right now, because I think this is true for any of these 5. It's like, no matter what happens, whichever of these 5 wins, this is the least clear that a Best Actor race has been in a very, very, very long time. This is going to be the most splits in a very, very long time. And there's the potential that something is going to happen for the first time, or for the first time in a very, very long time. So it's just like, if you're like, oh, well, Timothée Chalamet can't win because the last time somebody won was Sean Penn for Mystic River 23 years ago. I don't think you saying that, watching this video, would say that, because you probably didn't even know that until I said it. Maybe you did. Maybe I'm discrediting you. I'm sorry. But there's just like, that's not a good argument, because that's true for all of these people. Now, Ethan Hawke, I said this, he's the kind of guy that you give a career Oscar to. Like, hey, you've had a good career. You've had a couple nominations here and there. We're going to throw you this award. To me, he is the one of the 5 of these that I'm like, nope, Ethan Hawke's not winning this. And no offense to Ethan Hawke. His performance was fine. Leo, listen, you can never count Leo out. I would love a Leo win, because I think Leo is the greatest actor of all time. I would love to see him get another Oscar, but not when Timothée Chalamet's the one standing in between him and that Oscar. So, but again, wouldn't be shocked at that. Wagner Moura, I will admit, was my least favorite, I think, of the performances here. However, his performance was really good. I think it's a worthy nomination, and I think it would be cool if he took it home. Just because you don't see that, you haven't very often, and not in a decade or so, that somebody wins an acting award. I mean, Stellan Skarsgård was my other prediction, but the lead actor award for Best Actor in a non-English speaking film. So that would be a cool win. Listen, the Michael B. Jordan win, if Timothée Chalamet was not nominated for this award, I would be absolutely riding and conducting the Michael B. Jordan hype train for this award. But I can't do it because my boy is standing there in the way, and so I just have to support him. So if Michael B. Jordan wins, please know my sadness of Timothée Chalamet not winning will probably outweigh my excitement of Michael B. Jordan winning. But I would absolutely love and adore a Michael B. Jordan win. Well deserved. Sinners was the movie of the year, hands down. I think that would be a fantastic win, a cool win. That's just a cool win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not only does it make sense, but like people would hear that and be like, oh, that's cool. Sinners is a cool movie, right? But if Timothée Chalamet is nominated, that's my pick and that's my prediction. So I'm going to stick with Timothée Chalamet. If you look at the odds on Gold Derby, he is still the favorite. However, this is the tightest between the 1 and the 2 because he's now sitting at 44%. Prior to today, or prior to the actor awards, he was sitting at 71%. So that's why I made my stomach drop and churn a little bit here. Michael B. Jordan was sitting at 4% of a chance to win and has now jumped up to 39% in the 2 spot. Wagner Moura is sitting at 11%, and then Leonardo DiCaprio is at 2%, and Ethan Hawke's at 1%. So Timothée Chalamet is still the favorite according to Gold Derby, but I don't know. It just still makes me so nervous. It makes me so nervous. Okay. Now, moving on to our final 2 awards here. Best Director. I think if there's any year that there should be a split for Best Director and Best Picture, no, I won't say any year, but this would be a year for that, right? But I'm not going to predict that. There have only been 27 splits between those 2 awards, so where they were not won by the same film in the history. In all 97 prior, 27 of them were the same film. The other 27 of them were different films. The other 70 were the same, right? And usually it's going to be when the movie that wins Best Picture probably shouldn't have won Best Picture, maybe. And so that, like, Steven Spielberg won for Saving Private Ryan, but then Shakespeare in Love won Best Picture, right? That's like the most drastic nomination or drastic example. But I'm going to be synchronous here. I'll read the nominees for both, and then I'll tell you my winners. The nominees for Best Director are Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. Well, I've already told you that I thought Paul Thomas Anderson is going to take home 3, huh? And he only has, and that he doesn't have any so far because I said I was going to do a sleeper pick on the other one. So you probably know what these next 2 are. If not, I just told you. Oh, well. And the nominees for Best Picture are Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Paul Thomas Anderson is going to take home both of these awards for One Battle After Another. Sinners has a little bit of hype after they won Best Ensemble. Even though these 2 are distinctly different awards, I think that's going to boost more their chances of winning Best Casting than it will Best Picture. Definitely helps their chances of Best Picture. And again, a Sinners win would be so cool. A Ryan Coogler win would be so cool. But I think Paul Thomas Anderson is going to take home both. Let me make it clear that Sinners would actually be my personal pick for Best Picture. It's my pick for Best Picture is Sinners. I think when you have a movie of that magnitude, both commercially, culturally, but also critically, it should win Best Picture. Now, I'm not going to say a movie like Avengers Endgame just because it was such a cultural movement that it should have won Best Picture. No way. I love Avengers Endgame, like my favorite movie. But no. But Sinners, it had everything going for it. To me, that's a Best Picture. But my prediction is One Battle After Another. It's the heavy favorite, and Paul Thomas Anderson is the heavy favorite for Best Director. Not that I'm just going with them because they are the favorite, but those would be my choices there. I think Hamnet would be in third for both of those, which is why I think it's going to get thrown the Best Adapted Screenplay. So there you go, full circle. Now, those are all my all my predictions. I'll have a article put together probably a couple days after the Oscars, because if you don't know, the Oscars are on a Sunday night, and your boy is probably going to go to bed when those are done, and then I have work on a Monday. Shocking, I know. So it may take me a little time to compile my notes there for how I did and my thoughts and everything, but you can stay tuned on the blog, showtimewshane.com, or you can sign up for my email list if you know me and you want to sign up for my email list, where I send out a weekly email with all my articles from my blog, and it'll have this video on there. Well, if you're watching this video, you know that, or you don't need to click on it there, but it has just everything going on in the world of Showtime with Shane. If you want to do that, you know me personally, shoot me a text, shoot me a DM, whatever, that you want me to sign you up for my email list. It's just one email a week, and you can also always ask me to remove you if you want. That won't hurt my feelings. Or you can send an email saying, hey, add me to the list at what's my email? I should know that. I don't use it though. I have it and I send from it. But okay, it's showtimewshane@gmail.com. You can send an email there if you want to be added to the email list. So that's all I have to say. I'm excited for the Oscars. I can't wait. I'm really excited about the Oscars this year. This is the year. Every year I think is going to be this way, but I'm the most engrossed because I just continue to get more and more into movies. I'm going to be watching with Ryder for probably the first hour, and then I'll put him to bed and then watch the rest by myself because my wife's going to be out of town. And that's the kind of thing that I probably just need to do on my own because, yeah, you know. It's like watching sports. If somebody doesn't like watching sports, it's fine and it's dandy and the normal thing. But you know, in the Super Bowl, if you really care, you want to watch it with other people that really care. I don't really know anyone else that really cares, which is okay. I'm fine watching it by myself, so you don't need to feel bad for me, Mom. I'm happy to watch it by myself. I would rather watch it with my wife, of course, but she's gonna be gone. So, anyways, you don't need to know my life. You don't need to, but I told you anyways. Thanks so much for watching or listening, because I think I'm probably going to upload this as a podcast recording too. I guess we'll find out. Let's go Oscars. Let me join my pool if you want to try to win that trophy right there. And this has been another episode. We'll see how I do. Peace. And as always, happy watching, my friends.